Hey guys, welcome to Vegetology. I'm so excited to have you today because today we're making one of my favorite recipes. But before we're gonna start, I just want to remind you, please subscribe to my channel and like this page. Support means a lot. All right, so I have here a heavy cast iron pot. And I actually bought it. You know, you all buy like fancy, expensive companies. This is actually by Amazon. It's like 40 bucks and it's really, really cool. So we're gonna cook it in there. We're going to start with chopping. Ratatouille is a lot of preparation. And then when you cook it, it's like 30 minutes, the whole dish is ready. I'm going to use red lentil pasta. This pasta is actually packed with protein and it has so much fiber. It's not like the basic pasta that has milder flavor. We're going to use some tomato paste, some pine nuts, and tons of vegetable. Let's start with chopping the onions. So I'm going to start with 2 small size onion or 1 large size. The best way to peel an onion is to cut it in half. Keep this part intact, don't take it off. And then just peel it. 1, 2, and we want everything to be cubed to the same size, roughly. Ratatouille is more like a countryside, but very classic dish, so we don't want to mess with it too much. Okay, so I'm just gonna turn on medium heat. And I'm gonna put about 4 tablespoons of olive oil. It needs to have enough olive oil, otherwise, you need like to, basically you don't want the vegetable to burn, you want them to just soften, and then you're gonna add tomato paste, so it's gonna be like saucy. But you need some good amount of olive oil. Okay, while the oil is warming, I'm also going to chop the bell pepper. I didn't have the big ones, so I got a few of the small ones, the mini peppers. Choose any color, doesn't really matter. I think in general, the yellow and the red are the sweeter versus the greens, so maybe the yellow and the red are better. Okay, so I chopped about 8 mini peppers. If you have a big one, it's about 1 large one or 2 medium ones. And I'm chopping them first to stripes, and then it's easier to cut them all into cubes. Put it together. Just watch your fingers. There's a lot of chopping, as I said, so let's just enjoy it and take the time. Okay, while I'm still chopping, I'm gonna throw the onions into the pot. So basically, you need to think what's the firmest and the longest cooking vegetable, and then you're gonna move to the faster cooking vegetable. So bell pepper is actually cooking pretty quick. They're all gonna cook eventually because we're gonna cook them in a sauce. But maybe I'm gonna add the eggplants now. All right. For this, we're going to need about 3 cloves of garlic. I'm gonna use 2 because they're huge for some reason. And you just chop them finely or roughly. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It's going to cook. All right, so 1 and 2. Okay, let's chop the garlic. Again, finely or roughly, it doesn't really matter. Just the garlic, it doesn't really matter. For the rest, you need to make it like about 1/2 inch by 1/2 inch cubes. The garlic, just chop it. All right, let's stir. Now I'm going to add the roughly chopped garlic. A lot of garlic. Steven, I think I got you, I said 3, but it's maybe even 4, because the cloves that I got were really big. Zucchini. Taking 1 large zucchini. Okay. So I let the eggplant and the onion cook for just like about 5 minutes in total with the garlic, and I'm gonna add the bell pepper. And stir it. Now I see that the bottom of the pan starts to just get a little burnt, so or I can add more oil, or I can just add more liquid. In that case, I have vegetable broth that I'm just going to just drop just a little bit. And scrape the bottom. Oh my God, it smells so good. Oh my God, it smells really good. I'm always amazed with how just vegetables gives you so much flavor. You know, we always grew up in an environment that we thought that only meat can give us flavor and vegetable is like a side dish, but no. All right, looks like the eggplants are already almost completely softened. So we're going to add the zucchini. Okay, Google, why ratatouille called ratatouille?
According to Wikipedia, the word ratatouille derives from the Occitan ratatouille and is related to the French ratouiller and tatouiller, expressive forms of the verb touler, meaning to stir up.
See, Google is very helpful. We need some thyme. I have about 10 sprigs of thyme. And I always say, take the time to split the thyme. I basically take the stem as it is, hold the end of it, and very gently sliding it down so the stem comes out, and then at the end it's very soft, so you can just throw it in. There's always this question if you can use dry thyme versus fresh thyme, and I think there is no substitute, a real good substitute for fresh herbs. Fresh herbs give you this completely different taste than dry ones, so try to get the fresh ones. It's pretty important. So if you work on colors, just want to say, so we have the white, brownish eggplant, the white onions, the yellow pepper, the green zucchini, and that's why also I'm going to use the red pasta. Again, it's packed with protein. This bag is 1 pound, and it has 95 grams of protein in the bag. I mean, this probably is 3 servings. So just from the pasta, you're getting 30 grams of protein, which is a lot. That's like having a slice of chicken or whatever it is. We don't want to eat chicken. So we're gonna use this, but we're not using it yet. Very important, we're gonna season it. This needs some salt because it's also pasta and tons of vegetables. I'm going to use vegetable broth. So it has some salt in it, even though it's a low sodium one. So I'm just gonna season it. I will put about a teaspoon now, but then I'm gonna add more. I can fix later to add more, but you need to add now some vegetables. What it does, it actually helps the vegetable to take all the water out from the vegetables into the stew and melting the flavors together. We're probably gonna use more, but later. Oh, this looks so good. So now I'm just gonna add a tiny bit of cayenne pepper. Instead of using black pepper, that actually I don't think it gives us I don't think it gives me what I like. I don't like to use salt and pepper all the time. I usually use salt and then some chili flakes or cayenne pepper. And I'm gonna use very, very little, really like a 1/4 teaspoon. I don't want the dish to be spicy, but I want it to have some heat, even less. I'm going to use about 1/8 of a teaspoon of cayenne pepper, but this is if you like spicy, you can add more. I don't want it to be spicy. I just want the pepper to help to bring the flavors out. So just 1/8 of a teaspoon, a pinch, whatever you like. Perfect. Okay. So the vegetables are perfect now. They're sautéing and they're beautiful. Ratatouille has tomato paste, and if you use tomato paste after you use the water, the tomato paste has this some sorts of flavor that I would say like an aftertaste to it that we don't want to have. So I'm gonna put it now, and then I'm gonna stir it, fry it a little bit. It will get rid of this fake, I don't know, it's not fake, it's actually organic, but it's gonna get rid of this weird taste that tomato paste sometimes have. And then we're gonna add the water or the vegetable broth. All right. Okay, so the tomato paste is completely dissolved into the vegetables, and we're just going to add some vegetable stock. If you don't have vegetable stock, you can use water. There's tons of vegetables already, but for me, when I cook vegan, I'm always thinking, okay, if I have the opportunity to add flavor, I'm gonna add it in any way. If it's vegetable stocks, if it's adding more herbs, adding more flavors, it's always give us more layers of flavor, and that's what we want. So I have here about 2 cups of vegetable stock. And I'm gonna add about another cup of water. But you need to play with it, because each pasta, for example, my pasta will absorb less water than the pasta, regular pasta. So if you're deciding to use regular pasta, you will need less water. How you do it? You can cook and add water while it's cooking. It needs to be a stew. It needs to have the sauce absorb in the pasta, but not too saucy, but not too solid. So I will show you as we cook how we're getting there. I'm adding now 1 pound of red lentil pasta. We're just going to let it cook. And I'm gonna cover it. I will give it about, I think the total cook time is about 15 minutes, because we're not cooking it just in water, so it's a little different. But I'm gonna check after 5 minutes, and then again after 5 minutes, I'm gonna add liquid and see how good we're moving on. So I covered the pasta and I'm gonna let it cook about 15 minutes. We'll be back soon. Okay, so the ratatouille looks ready and the pasta is perfectly cooked. What I like to do is actually to turn off the heat and then just cover it and let it sit for about 3 to 5 minutes, just like for everything to calm down, for the flavor to come together, and then we're going to eat it. So it's been rested, the pasta is ready, the smell is perfect. It really is perfect. And let's serve it. The best way to serve it is in a bowl. It's a countryside dish. Just put it in a bowl and it's gonna taste and look beautiful. All the vegetables with the pasta. And this is not a regular pasta, it's a red lentil pasta. So if you make it with regular pasta, to be honest, regular pasta, it's even might taste even a little better. But I wanna get the protein and I wanna get the fibers, so I'm adding red lentil pasta. That, for me, I personally love this flavor. So, okay, and just some spoons. And basil. I don't like to chop basil. I like to turn it apart. Chopping makes the blade makes the basil turn dark, and we don't want that. So just like turn it like to big pieces, and just gonna give it a very like to stir it just a little bit, just like this. You can do it directly to the pot if you're planning on eating all the pot in one time, but this is a big pot, so I'm just going to have a little bit of basil. Let's decorate it a little bit. And last, put some pine nuts on top. And a drizzle of olive oil. Perfect. So, there you go. The ratatouille with pasta, one pot with basil, pine nuts, tons of vegetables, tons of protein. And let me tell you about the flavor right now. It's really, really, like, I know it's not winter, but in winter it can work really good. But also, actually, it feels just hearty and fulfilling. So if you need like some comfort food, but you still want to stick to something healthier and with tons of flavor, I think this dish will rock it. I love it. I'm going to eat it. Bye.